Hi viewers, in today's video we will talk about data handling, data storage and data retention. Data handling is an administrative control. We only want to give access to those who require to access data. That is based on their job requirements and responsibilities. Organization should have clear policy on who can access the data, how, when, and why they are allowed to access it. Which lead to the next question that why should we have auditing and logs in place? Audit logs are to make sure that whoever accessed the data actually had a good reason to do so. How we store our data is also very critical. Remember that attacker look for the weakest link. If, for instance, we use backup tapes, well, then they should be kept in secure, climate control, and preferably a geographical distant location. While the vast majority of the restores are not critical and is mostly just there, this user deleted this file and now they need it back. The rare ones, but also the ones that are actually important where we have a disaster. Then we need to make sure that while the backup tapes or medium are stored in geographical distant location, it is not going to take us an excessive amount of hours to get the tapes back so we can restore. We need to be able to get our tapes back in a reasonable time and a reasonable manner. This should also be sometimes we look at what is our MTD, maximum tolerable downtime. If our MTD is 4 hours, it is going to take us 4 hours to restore the system. The hardware that leaves us at the most 4 hours to get the system up and running with the software that we need. But if the backup company is going to take 5 hours to deliver the tape or backup medium, well, then we are past the MTD. And this is part of what we do in our disaster recovery plan. We do testing, we do walkthrough, and then when might realize that tapes or backup medium are going to get here too late. Then we need to negotiate with our uh, with the department with the team who's storing the backup that it should reach within this time period. And also sometimes we need to have insurance that in case that backup medium or tapes are destroyed or it's not in good condition to restore, then we will get some insurance amount. Understand that we need to keep our data secure at all stages and on all media. We cannot have the weak link in our chain. The paper need to be just as protected as the backup medium. We should assume that attackers are very good at what they do. They will do a ton of research before even attacking us. They learn that we have a pretty good difference in depth. They are not going to waste their time on trying to attack our actual servers. If they found out that we keep our storage tapes downstairs next to public restrooms, then they just need to get access to the restrooms and break into the room next to it where our data has been kept. Now we will look at data retention. It is very common in large organizations to have high amount of data. So it is not feasible to keep all data on disk, especially if it is not data that we use it all the time. If we are in finance or healthcare, then there are certain requirements we have to keep certain data so we can use our backup tapes. Depending upon the regulation, may require a certain retention of the data that can be 1, 3, 7, or infinity. Each industry has its own regulation and company policy may differ from the statutory requirements. So you need to follow the industry regulation and your company policy to make sure that you are compliant with the regulation. Now let's take an example of credit card. Let's say our organization accepts credit card, but we are not a credit card processor. In many states and countries, we need to keep a log of the transaction, but not the actual transaction. Once we have handed the data off to the credit card processor, we need to get rid of it. We are legally not allowed to keep it. It doesn't matter if we want to. Many of the large attacks in the US where credit cards were compromised, they had kept data that they were not supposed to. Remember the weakest link where the attacker will attack. That's all for today's video. Kindly subscribe to my channel and leave your comments if you require any further information. Thank you.